Welcome to the Hardship Podcast. This is Brandon.
In January.
And our sponsor.
I didn't know that you wanted me to just jump right into it.
Well, yeah, let's pay the bills first.
Well, today's episode is sponsored by Expectful. And many of you have probably seen me share about Expectful in the past. I've worked with them. I know them personally, and I love them. They are the #1 guided meditation app for fertility, pregnancy, and motherhood. Just like you probably take a prenatal vitamin for your body, Expectful's meditations are like a prenatal vitamin for your mind. I love that. It can help you conceive and have a happier, healthier pregnancy and baby. Their guided tracks, which are made specifically for hopeful, pregnant, and new moms, help you reduce stress, improve sleep, and connect with your little one. I love that. I love that it's specifically geared towards those who are trying to conceive, expecting moms, and early postpartum. I think that's great. So you can go to expectful.com/BWF to get a special offer. They're giving our listeners a 14-day free trial of Expectful. And you guys, I've said this before, but in case you haven't seen it, Anna, who's one of the main people that run Expectful. I've done a podcast with her on the Expectful podcast, if you want to go listen to that. But she is the one who made me realize that I actually can, in fact, meditate. I was one of those people that thought, just like I used to think I couldn't be vegan, I thought I couldn't meditate. Like, oh, that's not for me. That doesn't work for me. And she just shared some insightful wisdom and some tips. And it's because of her that I started meditating well over a year ago now. So I am a big, big fan of Expectful, their team, their app. So go check it out. And Brandon will put it in the show notes if you want to look it up as well.
Indeed, I will.
Awesome. So what are we going to talk about today on this sponsored by Expectful podcast?
Well, it's coffee and tattoos. 4.0.
Is this the fourth one?
Yeah.
We must really love coffee and tattoos then.
We do, but we've been slacking on the tattoo department as of late.
Yeah,
so.
I mean...
You haven't. I mean, I have. But
well, neither one of us had gotten tattoos really in the last year. We've been,
super busy.
And when you move away from an artist you're used to going to and you have to find a new artist, like it's a big deal. You know, you have to trust them. You have to like their style. You know, you're getting art put on your body permanently. So that's part of it too, is we haven't found anyone locally or gotten serious about finding anyone locally here in the Phoenix area to get new tattoos. So that's why probably too.
Well, you got yours in Toronto and Wisconsin, so
I decided
haven't.
I decided, fuck it. I'm not waiting to find someone in Phoenix. I'll just find someone all around the world. I did try to get I was going to get a tattoo in Australia when I went, but it just didn't work out. I'm all about the timing of things and things just working out if they're meant to be, and it just wasn't meant to be in Australia this time. Maybe next time, but
maybe next time.
I know.
All those people in Australia are getting excited.
I have some ideas.
Yeah.
I have some ideas for, I fell in love with Perth. So that's all I'm going to say on that.
Looks pretty awesome. I wouldn't know. I mean, I was here.
Not bitter at all.
But I'm not bitter. I was here with the kids.
Just a little salty. Oh my goodness.
So what tattoos have you gotten recently?
Well, when I was in Toronto, I got the heart cactus. So we are from Arizona. We moved back to Arizona, and cacti are obviously a very big part of the landscape in Arizona. And I started seeing photos from photographers here that are local, finding not just awesome prickly pear cactus or cacti, but heart-shaped ones. And I just fell in love, absolutely fell in love. I just loved everything about it. You know, that I love like hearts and just love. And I like to look for just signs in life and in nature that things are good or going to be okay. And so I found one I specifically loved, and I've been wanting to get it tattooed for a while, and it just made sense to do it on my other hand because of my self-love generation heart, rainbow heart on my right hand. But again, we haven't had anyone here, so I just knew it would happen in the right time. So when I was in Toronto, actually more specifically Burlington, outside of Toronto, I had some time in between an evening event and then my day event, and was out eating yummy vegan food, by the way. Since this is coffee and tattoos, let me just say, can we also make it vegan treats and tattoos? Because I went to one of the best all vegan bakeries like in the world and that I've ever been to, Kelly's Bake Shop there in Burlington. And it was, by the way, it's not only vegan, but it's all gluten-free, but it does not, when I think vegan gluten-free treats, I'm like, ugh, like you think cardboard, right? No, I don't know what kind of magic they are putting into this, but they seriously have some unicorn magic going on up in there. It was amazing. I would travel back to Burlington just to go there.
Well,
and they do have coffee.
you're going to have to, because I love Toronto.
You do love Toronto.
I do want to check out this place.
We need to go back. Like, we need to go back just for fun.
Yeah.
It was so cool. So anyways, after I got lunch and I went there and got coffee and a Mile High brownie. Mm-hmm. Oh, so good. Let me just take a moment. I looked up some tattoo shops close by, and I was like, well, if it works out, it works out. It's meant to be. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I found one I liked, and I walked over there. It was very windy and cold, by the way. I walked over there, and I walked in, and it was so wild how it worked out, because when I looked it up, there was one artist that I really liked on their Instagram. And so I went in, and she was tattooing someone. Actually, she was in the front, and she said, how can I help you? And I said, I just want to see if by chance any of your artists have opening this afternoon. And she's like, oh, we're pretty booked. Like, we're booked through, but our front desk person will be back from Starbucks in a minute. You can talk to her. And I'm like, okay, I'll just wait, sure, we'll see. And as I was waiting, 4 other guys came in to talk to someone, 2 guys together, and then 2 other guys. So she got back, and I just sat on the bench and let all these men go in front of me because they didn't even give me a second glance. I don't know if it's like toxic masculinity or what the hell it was, but I was there first. But whatever, I digress. So I let them do their thing, and they all talked stuff out with her, and I just sat there and listened. And then the last guy that walked in, he was supposed to be having an appointment in about 45 minutes with Carol, the tattoo artist I really liked, and in the front. And he came in and he said, I have somewhere else I have to be, and we won't be done in time. I'm just going to have to reschedule my appointment. And she's like, okay, sure, no problem. We'll reschedule you in a few weeks. And then she looked at me, and I looked at her, and we just were like, aha, it's meant to be. So by me just waiting there, her appointment came in and canceled so that she had time to do my tattoo. Isn't that cool?
That is very cool.
I love shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's stuff like that just, I don't know, it just keeps me going. I just love when things all work out that way.
Very awesome.
So then she was like, what do you want? And I was like, well, shit, what do I want today? And I was thinking about a few different things. And then I said, well, this is something I've been wanting. And I pulled up some photos, and they're like, where do you want it? I was like, on my hand. And it was funny because she had told me, she's like, if you had come in here and you didn't have your other hand tattooed, I don't know that I would have done your hand, because it's like a big deal to like get tattoos on your hand, right? And I was like, well, I do. So yeah, so she did that on my hand. And it's like green and purple and has the little spikes. But hand tattoos are interesting because it's your hand. It's like really wrinkly, and you wash your hands a lot. So you have to go in really, really deep. So it looks amazing, but I can already tell as it's healing that I'm going to have it touched up. So I think I'm going to do that in Austin, because I'm going back to Austin in June for the Born Into This conference. I'll be speaking on a panel. It's the weekend of June 6th through 8th. So it's Doula Training International is putting on their Born Into This conference, the 2nd year. So I'll be there for that. So I might go to our girl there and have her touch it up, and then have her do another one too, another small one too. We were just talking about that.
Yes, we were.
Do you think that's the one I should do?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I will.
I feel like I need one before then. I'm feeling a little jealous of all your tattoos.
Well, yeah.
I have a naked arm that needs
it's
to
not
be
naked.
sleeved.
You have a massive tattoo on your upper arm on that side.
Well, it's like 1/4 of my arm. I need the other 3/4.
You sound like your dad when you talk like that.
Well,
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I knew Brandon's dad for 19 years before he passed away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Long time.
Yeah,
So
you did know him a long time.
Poppy was part of our lives for a very long time, and the whole reason why I have a Poppy tattoo.
Yeah, he had some
But he was funny.
some fairly silly sayings and mannerisms that we
Mannerisms,
still
yes.
make fun of today.
I know, but that's how we carry on his memory.
Well, I'm gonna go to the gym and work on my temple. It's like, oh my god, that was so ridiculous.
Oh my gosh. I wish that you were actually kidding, but that's
exactly how he sounded.
that was pretty close.
Yeah.
Oh man. So when I go to Austin, I'm going to see if she'll touch that up. And then I have an inside joke with you and my grandparents about being the golden child. My siblings are a jealous sort. So
A bit.
I'm going to have my grandmother write out golden child in her handwriting. And I think I'm going to get that tattooed in dark purple because it's the color of royalty. And then put some yellow around it, make it like sparkly or something. So I think that's what's coming next is a touch up and golden child in my grandmother's handwriting. I think I'm going to put it right here on the top of my arm, close to my wrist, right there. I think it's going to be like right. Just so, none of the siblings miss it. I just, I want to make sure, hey, you know what? You got to own it.
Yeah.
You got to own that kind of stuff.
You do.
So yeah, that's coming up next. And then where did I go this last weekend?
You were in Madison,
Wisconsin, which is a phenomenal place. And the people there are amazing. My grandmother, speaking of, was super jealous. I went to Wisconsin of all places and she really wanted to go. She loves Wisconsin. But that was fun too. That was a lot of fun. And Nicole Streeter had helped organize that one. And she has her friend and tattoo artist who's really good. And she asked him to come and tattoo herself and then some other people. And I was one of them. So I made an appointment with him and he's like, what do you want? And I was like, crap, what do I want next? And Lavender came to me and I had no plans to tattoo lavender on my body. Like we ever even talked about it really?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I hadn't really had any plans for it, but there was something drawing me to it. And I thought, well, maybe it's just to remind me to, stay soft. And plus it's beautiful. And we use lavender like every single day. So after I got it tattooed, I looked up what it meant. I shared this to my Instagram, but this is from the Google.
The Google machine.
Lavender flowers are known to represent purity, silence, devotion, serenity, grace, and calmness. In addition to the flower's significance, its purple color also comes with great symbolism. Purple is the color of royalty and speaks of elegance, refinement, and luxury. The color purple is also associated with the crown chakra, which is the energy center associated with higher purpose and spiritual connectivity. And that really spoke to me. Like I already knew I was drawn to it, like as a reminder to give myself grace and to stay soft, the calmness aspect. But the color purple being associated with the crown chakra, which is the energy, associated with the spirituality and higher power. Like I thought that was really, I really resonated with that. And I have a feeling this tattoo is going to mean something different to me throughout like my journey and my life. So it's, he went really hard, by the way. You've
said a few times.
He went really, he was heavy-handed, and it's on a sensitive spot of my arm, and I have bruises, and I've never bruised with a tattoo before. I don't think. Have I? I don't think so.
No.
Yeah. Well, I bruised with this one, but what was really cool is when I got home from this trip, I spent the night at my aunt's house when I got in, and then I was driving home the next morning, and I text you. Is there anything you want me to get you? And you said, yeah, I need some homeopaths from the naturopath school. They have what's it called there?
A medicinary.
Medicinary. Yeah.
I feel like I'm always saying that wrong.
For their homeopaths. So I was like, oh, sure. Which was interesting because I've had naturopathy on my mind anyways, really intensely the last 24 hours I had it on my mind. So I went over there to get the homeopaths, and the doctor who runs it she was asking me about my tattoos, and I was telling her, and I had just run out of lavender, and she saw my tattoo and she's like, oh, well, here, I have something for you. And she pulled out a bottle of lavender for me and gave it to me as a gift, which is super sweet. So it was really cool. So I've actually been helping my lavender tattoo heal with lavender essential oil.
Very nice.
It's very fitting.
Yeah, very fitting. Yeah.
Are you like just super jealous or what? You're sitting here like, yeah, super nice.
No,
yeah.
I'm not jealous.
Yeah, you are.
No, the difference between us is you get smaller tattoos, and for me,
That's true.
Everything I do, I have to jump in both feet first, completely immerse, like do everything in the most epic way possible. And so the tattoo I want on to kind of fill in the rest of my left arm is literally just going to be one big tattoo.
So what are you going to get?
It takes some time. I'm going to get a phoenix bird rising up out of the ashes, not the hashes, rising up out of the ashes of its old dead husk with flames, and it's going to have its wings unfurled along either side.
So where are you going to get it?
Well, I'm actually going to start it on my hand.
Nice.
It's going to rise up my forearm, and the wings are going to unfurl along either side of the tattoo I already have on my upper arm.
That's awesome. Are you going to do color or black and gray?
I go back and forth on it from day to day. Black and gray is perfect on me. So color holds great on you.
Yeah, it does.
Black and gray holds great on me. So I don't know. But it's a phoenix, and I feel like flames kind of need some color.
I saw a black and gray shadowed like tattoo on Instagram, and it looked really cool. And it was the first time I had seen one that I thought, okay, that would actually be, if you got it done by the right artist, phenomenal. But it's a phoenix and like the ashes and stuff. So I definitely lean towards, I know if I was getting one, it would definitely be in color.
Yeah.
But I think that you can go either way and it would be amazing. I don't think you can go wrong. I think it's just personal preference. And then it depends on the artist too, because every artist has a different style and techniques and it, is talented in different things. So,
well, I definitely want it to look epic.
Yeah.
What I have in my mind is a fairly epic image. So, yeah, I'm going to have to find the right person.
Yeah, you are.
I definitely lean towards color. Mm-hmm. So I just got to find the right person out here.
Yeah. We've been looking at Instagrams. It's like, to me, it's like when people look for business, they, used to always be like, the business page on Facebook. And now I'm like, do you have an Instagram? Because I want to go see what you do and what your work is like. And it's much easier to see a tattoo artist work on Instagram with the grids of pictures than anywhere else. So I really look to people's Instagrams for their work. And I know some artists are great at sharing their work and others aren't. So, the Ryan who did my lavender, he actually hasn't shared a ton of his recent work. So it was Nicole showing me some of his stuff that I was like, wow, he is really good. Yeah. So I just think all tattoo artists should be sharing their work on Instagram. That's the moral of the story. So I can pick them to tattoo me.
Yeah.
Well, I think you'll find the right person. And I think, and you'll have to have more than one sitting for that.
Oh, it'll definitely be more than one sitting.
Yeah.
It'll probably be minimum 2, but maybe 3, possibly even 4. We'll see, depending on the amount of shading needed. Mm-hmm. But for me, tattoos are a fairly relaxing thing,
it's
fairly
so weird.
meditative thing.
It's so weird. You fall asleep.
Yeah, I've fallen asleep getting tattoos before, and
times.
on sensitive parts too, like on the tricep. And
I don't fall asleep. I have to go into like my labor breathing.
Yeah. So to me, that tells me that maybe my adrenal glands are like shot, and stress has gotten to me, and I'm like passing out.
Might not be a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but the only painful part of any tattoo I've ever had was right on the crook of my elbow.
Yeah, on the inside of your elbow.
Faces. Oh my gosh, that is brutal.
Yeah, I don't plan on having the inside of my elbows tattooed. I mean, I have caffeine on my left one, but it's like a little bit of line work, so it wasn't a big deal.
Well, the whole crook of my elbow on my right arm is completely shaded, and she was working on that for an hour and a half, and it was just agonizing.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it
looks phenomenal. The details are phenomenal.
Yeah, I get the most comments on the octopus.
Yeah, it's big. and it's right in the middle of your arm, and the detail work is great. And you were worried about how it was healing because it was like in that crook of the elbow. It's like a really awkward space, like spot to heal and to keep like dry and clean. And it was looking a little funky for a minute, but it healed really well.
Well, I kept it wrapped too long because we drove up to one of your events up in Oklahoma. And so I had it wrapped for most of the day, way too long. And so it actually got a little gross and infected. And so I was wondering how it was going to work out, but it healed perfectly. So
it did. It ended up healing really well. And we've talked about you just flying out to have the Phoenix done by Megan because she did your whole sleeve and you really liked how it worked out. So
that is true. That is very tempting.
Hey, I tell people it's worth traveling to find the right care provider. So
that is
it's worth
true.
Traveling to, I mean, it's permanent ink on your body. So
that's true.
Now there are a lot of talented artists in Phoenix too.
Oh, of course.
But
it might just be easier to find.
She is really, if you're going to do color, I mean, you know, my whole arm is a rainbow and I get comments on my rainbow arm every single day. Every time I leave the house, I get comments on my rainbow arm. Like people are like, did you just get those? I'm like 2 years ago. And they're like, wow, like it's so bright. And they're like, why? I'm like, I'm lucky. I mean, I don't use that word often, but I am. Like,
well, you have fair skin, and
I do have
the color holds better on yours, and my skin's more tan. So
yeah, the only issues I've had is with a little bit of black ink, actually, and then my hands. You know, but that's not surprising. Like you have to go really deep into the hands and knuckles.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So the Phoenix next, you just have to decide color or black and gray.
And yeah, it may seem a little cliche. We moved back to Phoenix area. I'm getting a Phoenix, but that's actually not the reason why I want to do it.
That.
It's maybe like a minor reason, kind of like I'm coming back home, but it's mainly because my mental health tanked and went through a really, really bad few years. And I feel like I have come out of the tail end of it stronger and wiser and more prepared than I've ever been in my life, and I know a lot more about myself. I've actually had an incredibly difficult, challenging, yet rewarding self journey of really just discovering who I am. I know that's a cliche term, and I hate when people say, oh, I'm just trying to figure out who I am. And it sounds kind of ridiculous, but I really actually didn't know a lot of things about myself until, truthfully, the last year. In this last year, while I was 39, up until about turning 40. And so I know I have a lot more to learn. I'm not saying I'm done learning, but I feel much better prepared.
There is something about getting to 40.
Yeah. And so I feel like the husk that's going to be on my hand is going to represent me before 40, and then the Phoenix rising up out of the ashes and the flames is going to be me from now on. And
that's cool.
And yeah, we did move back to Phoenix, so there's that too.
Yeah, but that's not what it's about. I just think it's going to be hot. I think you're going to be like, it's going to look so good. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited you're starting it on your hand. I think it's going to be amazing. And people see my hand tattoos. They're like, so what do you do? I'm like, well, first of all, I've been a mom for 15 years. Does that count?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm always going to be getting tattoos from here on out. I absolutely love them. I don't know why I waited so damn long to get them.
I know why.
Well, yeah, I know why too.
You care too much about what other people think. We can all fool ourselves that we don't care what other people think, but at the end of the day, we do on some level or with some people or whatnot. So, you know, we have to like acknowledge that and then do what we feel is best for us, anyways.
I can't honestly say I care too much what other people think anymore, if at all. Like I'm just gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I don't care if people say that what I'm doing is impossible or I can't do it or this or that or I shouldn't do it. I'm just going to do it. I've always been very resistant to authority or people telling me what I can't do.
Just a little bit.
I have just this innate troublemaker mentality in my mind that I just like to piss people off. True. And I get such joy out of it.
Oh my gosh. It's so true. I think I really shed caring what other people think, even though I would tell myself I, give no fucks. I don't care what people think. I still was, and so I've really shed that because I really love who I've become and who I'm becoming. But I still care when people are mean or people are assholes or people don't give me the benefit of the doubt. I still get worried about that kind of thing, because I have so many people relying on me and then, doing events and doing this and doing that. And so sometimes I'm worried about not so much disappointing people as much anymore. Still a little bit of that, but I've worked through that too. Like sometimes you're going to just disappoint people.
Yeah.
And sometimes that has to do with you because you can't follow through on something. And sometimes it really doesn't have anything to do with you. It just depends on the situation. So if it has to do with you, then you learn from it and you do better next time. But I do still care about how people treat me for sure. Like, people are rude to me in an email or rude to me, whatever. Like I still get worried about that and have some anxiety over that, but not so much what people think about me anymore. Definitely not what people think about my body anymore. I had some people finding my account recently and making some really nasty comments about my body. And it was just like, fuck off. Like your opinion has like no bearing. The only opinion that matters here is my own. That's it. So if I'm not feeling myself, then I need to feel myself. Like I need to balance whatever chakra that is.
Or I need to feel yourself.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that whole caring, like there was that element for you in getting tattoos, I think. And then we were Mormon for a long time, so that played a part too, but we left the church and I remember us talking about getting tattoos and you were like, oh, why would you do that? Or, oh, that's permanent. And I was like, how much longer am I going to wait? Like I'm 30, what was I, 37? I was almost 38.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much I'm getting close to 40. Like how much longer am I going to put it off? And I think I know what I want at this point. Like, I'm not 18 years old and going to get a butterfly on my foot. Like, yeah, or, a
tramp stamp.
I wasn't going to say it. I don't know. Like, yeah,
It's okay.
What a dumb word. But yeah, it's like, I'm not going to get something cliche.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get something.
With the barbed wire around your upper arm.
If I'm going to get I would never get that anyways. But if I'm going to get a butterfly tattoo, like it's going to have a significance to me now, not just because I can't think of anything else or that's what everyone else is doing. That's my point. But thank you for just getting vulgar there.
Vulgar?
I actually had like a good point there, but you just went there with the tramp
You're the
stamp.
one that was dropping F-bombs earlier.
That's not vulgar. That's just fucking expressing yourself with a lot of emotion. Yes. It's just getting your point across.
Well, fuck.
Oh my goodness. I have it on my mind because the girls are asking me what like certain words mean from like movies and stuff. And they're like, what does, one of them recently was like, what does whore mean? And another one was like, what does PUSSY mean? Because she heard it in Venom. And, I'm like, well, this is what it means. However, females are taking our power back and we're taking the power back in those words. They're not dirty words. There's nothing wrong with a woman being, sexual or being in her power, all this stuff. So I have it on my mind. So when you said tramp stamp, I like wanted to go full on feminist on you for a moment there, but.
Speaking of, you should hear some of the feminist conversations that go on in this household. Holy moly. Like, I don't mind it because we have 4 girls and, I want them to grow up to be confident, strong
And I
women.
want our boys to grow up around strong, confident girls.
Right, and having respect for women. Because I grew up in a very, in a home full of toxic masculinity. And,
for sure.
And I was a part of that
Bro
as
science.
Well. Bro science. I mean, it was just...
You guys idolized Arnold.
Oh yeah, we watch Pumping Iron every so often. Sports, pro wrestling. I was, grew up being in heavy metal. I'm still into heavy metal.
We do have some awesome conversations in the house, though.
But yeah, the conversations sometimes get really, really intense, and we have to okay, let's pause.
I might have brought a poster home.
Something else.
I might have brought a poster home from Wisconsin that is a bunch of different shaped boobs, and it's called it says on the bottom of it, Titty Committee. It's from a shop I think it's called Dune in Madison, Wisconsin. And I don't know the artist. I'd have to go grab it and look at it, but I'll share it on Instagram. But our 8-year-old was like, the only one that looks right is this one. And I was like, oh, son, let's unpack this. I'm like, actually, they're all right. None of them are wrong. And it's just people's bodies and they're all going to look different. But isn't that interesting? Like even at 8 years old, it's like, oh, only this one is the right one. And it's like, no, like, let's just like, and for him too, like your body's unique too. And your body is okay too. So constantly having conversations, this is a whole other podcast, but constantly having conversations. We'll do one. We should do one.
We should, yeah.
On children like loving themselves, accepting themselves, but also not judging other people and their bodies and their choices is really, really important. So it kind of goes in line though with getting tattoos, right? Like if it's a modification of the body, and not judging what other people choose to do with their own bodies, right?
Yeah, our kids are much calmer about all that stuff than I was as a kid.
The conversations are very, very different,
yeah,
right?
I mean,
than our
I
generation
had,
and their generation.
I had comic books when I was a kid, and I was drawing cleavage on Wonder Woman when I was like 5 years old. So,
I think that might be a whole other podcast to unpack too. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Oh my goodness! But it is kind of interesting having our kids talk about, when I'm 18 or I'm older, I might want to get this tattoo or that tattoo. And when our older kids were really young and we were Mormon, I would have been like, and that's like judgy. I was more judgy, and because of a set of rules I was told was right, and I've loved getting older and just deciding what I feel is right for me and what I feel is good for me, and then doing that, but then not putting that on anyone else. Right? It's like two-sided. Like we need to be able to do what's best for ourselves and not to worry about what other people are thinking, but then also not judge other people when they do it differently than us.
When we stop and think about it, it's crazy that we were actually Mormon, because I am so anti-authority, anti-rule.
I know.
Can't believe I was.
We were really drawn to the village aspect of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of family
support in our society.
No, I mean both sets of our parents were divorced, and
there's we live in like these little nuclear families, and everyone is trying to get through their lives and get their next job promotion and find ways to pay their rent and pay off student loan debt and raise their kids, and then we're worried about everyone judging us about how we're raising our kids, and we just don't have this village aspect anymore, and the church really does provide that. And I think we talked about that in the two podcast episodes we did about it.
Covered it ad nauseam.
But so it's that village village aspect we were drawn to. But you're right, everything else. I remember a really good friend of ours was like, January, you're not Mormon. And I was like, but I am. He's like, but you're really not. That's when we're like active in the church.
Yeah, he would say the same thing to me sometimes.
And it's like, he's not wrong, because it's like, it just like so much of it didn't align with what we, with everything we're saying right now. Yeah. But that desire and need, that really deep innate need for like a village and support, it's really, it's a huge factor and why. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think in this day and age though, there's not really the whole nuclear family, American dream sort of thing is kind of fallen by the wayside, and there's no really one right way to raise kids.
I love it.
Have a family or live your life or earn an income. Really cool. It's very diverse.
Yeah, it's a really cool time to be alive. I know that there's a lot of negativity. I know people are always fighting. People think that the world is like this really evil, hard place to live in, but I just choose not to see it. Like, not that I choose not to see it, because I do see it. I choose not to see it that way. Like, meaning that I see it. I see all that happening. But what a time to be alive that, that stuff can't be hidden. It can't be thrown on the rug, and it can't be silenced anymore. That people can't be silenced as easily anymore, right? Because, now we have social media. Now we have cameras on our phone. Yeah. Now we can get on an app and have a free platform with a click of a few buttons and an email address. And I think it's absolutely fucking phenomenal that we live at a time where all of these changes are happening. The conversations we're having with our children are so different than the conversations in our houses. And I love it. I love it. I think this is a phenomenal time to be alive. There's always going to be negative shit in this world. There's always going to be evil stuff. There's always going to be hard stuff, but there's always going to be a lot of good. And right now, the good can shine brighter too. And the positive can shine brighter too. And the amount of change happening right now is so fast and so massive. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. I love it.
I was feeling that there's no better time to be alive than after watching Avengers Endgame. That movie has blown me away. I've seen it twice.
Don't give any spoilers.
I won't give any spoilers, but
we won't give any spoilers for Endgame or Game of Thrones.
And Game of Thrones has been pretty awesome too.
I will say though, when Game of Thrones ends, we are doing a podcast episode on that.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
So if you listen to this podcast and you're holding on Game of Thrones, just be wary. We might spill the beans.
Yeah. And what's funny about Endgame is our oldest is 15. She's like, Mom, I've been waiting my whole life for this movie. Because it's been how many movies?
Well, Iron Man came out in '08, and she was 5.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean,
She's like, I've been waiting for like ever. So it was like this epic thing for our kids who have
Yeah.
been like waiting, like watching all these Marvel movies leading up to the end game. And I'm like, that's a really good point. Like, wow, that's incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. It blew me away. Like
That was cool.
our kids are always asking me, "What's your favorite movie? What's your favorite movie?" And I never have an answer. What I may have like The Matrix is my favorite movie franchise.
Yeah.
Like I love the Matrix movies and the message
It's
in
good.
them, and they're phenomenal. But one particular movie, I don't know. However, right now, currently, I would say Endgame
Really?
is my favorite movie.
And wow.
I would watch it over and over again.
Yeah, it's not my favorite.
It
I
is
mean, I
mine.
loved it, but it's not my favorite movie.
Well, it blew my mind.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think my favorite movie franchise is Fast and Furious.
Really?
And the Step Up movies.
Oh my God.
If that
You're actually
doesn't
admitting that?
if that doesn't show my person, hey, hashtag no shame. Like I love
Step Up.
I love those. No, do not even. Do not. We will have a war. Do not even put down the Step Up movies. They are so good, especially
man.
Moose. I love Moose. Yeah, but my favorite romantic movie of all time is The Notebook.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I like what happens after we watch The Notebook.
Does that
So
make
that would make it one of my favorites as well.
that would make it your favorite romantic movie then too?
Yes, most definitely.
We just watched a movie the other night though that surprisingly was phenomenal. What was it?
Fighting with Our Family.
Yeah, the wrestling one.
Yeah, it's The Rock produced it, and he's in it a little bit, but it's about Paige, who is a WWE wrestler, and she actually retired last year,
Yeah.
but she comes from a wrestling family. Her parents were like little small time.
Cersei's in it.
Yeah, Lena Headey plays
fine, Lena
plays her
Headey.
mom,
Yeah.
and
She did a good job too.
yeah, she's awesome.
It was surprisingly, we watched it with our 4 oldest kids and it was surprisingly really good. Like I got emotional in parts. Like they really pulled out the humanness. There was a lot of they really humanized the whole thing.
It was
really good.
It was great. And growing up, I was a big time pro wrestling fan. I actually wanted to be a pro wrestler for many years. So
Yeah, you did.
I actually know a ton about pro wrestling. And
When we were first dating, you were like, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a wrestler.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
was like, could you not?
I'm glad I didn't make that decision.
Yeah.
But watching it was, I was geeking out the whole movie because it's like a behind the scenes of the
You were
wrestling
geeking
business.
out.
And it was,
Every time I looked
loved
over
it.
at you, you had like this grin on your face and like you just kind of like would purse your lips and like nod with it and your eyes would squint up. You were like so into it.
Well, and The Rock played himself. And
He did.
so
That
one
was
part
fun.
of the movie, they meet him and he does his whole rock
Shtick.
persona.
Yeah, it was fun.
I was losing my mind. I was like, yes.
Vince Vaughn did a great job in it too.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was
great.
the coach.
It was a really cool
It was
movie.
really good.
It was really funny, actually.
Yeah, it was.
So
It was really
highly
good.
recommend. Even if you don't like pro wrestling at all, it's actually a very good, well directed,
Yeah.
well acted, well written movie.
Yeah, it was really good. I liked it a lot.
It was first a documentary about their family years ago, and The Rock saw it, and
Produced
coming
a
from a
movie.
wrestling family himself, he decided he wanted to turn that into a movie.
Yeah,
And
that's really neat.
yeah, it was
Another
cool.
movie I saw recently, since this has turned into tattoos and movies, not tattoos and coffee,
Oh yeah,
is The Green Book. You haven't seen it yet.
I
but
have
The
not
Green
seen it
Book.
yet.
We need to watch that one. That was really
Yes.
good. That was phenomenal. And then it's funny because when I'm traveling, especially like internationally, and I watch movies, I'll come home and I'd be like, yeah, I saw this movie and I really loved it. And I saw this movie and I really loved it. And then our 14-year-old, he's almost 14. He was like, how sleep deprived were you when you watch that? because I'll think it's great on the airplane and then we watch it at home and it's not great. It's like I loved the Robin Hood movie when I was flying and he's like, but mom, were you tired on the airplane? He's like, it probably wasn't that good.
or like movies you don't think that are good, and we're like, what? What are you talking about? That was fantastic.
It's because I haven't slept in 2 days and I'm on an airplane. And so I don't know what I get so tired on airplanes that I have to write down which movies I watch because I'll forget because I'm so sleep deprived when I'm flying like that. I have a really hard time sleeping on airplanes. I try. But then I end up just wanting to murder everyone because they keep crinkling their water bottles or calling the attendant or like moving their, like grabbing your seat when they're getting up, or all sorts
coughing
all night long. And it just, all it ends up doing is like making me angry, and I don't like being angry. So I'll try to rest. And if it's just not happening, then I'll put on a movie, but I won't even remember all the movies I watched because I'm just like up all night watching movies over the ocean.
over the ocean.
Yeah.
7 miles up.
I love movies because it's like it's an escape, you
Yeah.
know, for an hour and a half or 2 hours from, like when I'm postpartum, I love going to the movies, and it just lets me, yeah, I like it better than shows too, because there's a resolution. So it's like 2 hours of escape, but I'm not sucked into like 13 hours of a show. I love shows too. Don't you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They're more open-ended. And
So tattoos and coffee and movies are like, those are the good escapes for, I think those are healthy escapes.
how do you like to drink your coffee right now?
So my favorite coffee to get when I'm out, as long as not too hot, is a soy cappuccino.
Ah, yes.
And that's because
With one stevia.
that's what I drank in Sydney last year. So, there was lots of cappuccinos. And so, yeah, soy milk foams really, really well. Almond milk does not, but soy milk foams incredibly. So
It's so good.
if the only place for me to go is Starbucks, which I'm not a huge fan of their coffee anymore, I'll get a soy cappuccino with a stevia, and it's actually really good. It's my favorite drink of theirs right now.
Well, and there's a Starbucks right by where we live that
They do a
actually
good job.
They make it great. I've
do.
had cappuccinos at other Starbucks,
Yeah.
and it's like typical.
Yeah,
not
they
that
do a
good
good job.
Yeah.
They do a really good job. If I want an iced drink, then I just get like an iced soy or almond milk latte and stick a stevia in it. At home, I really like our hot coffee. We've been getting like a fair trade breakfast blend from Trader Joe's that we grind up, and we
It
just
is
put
so
it.
good.
It is, and we just put it in our Mr. Coffee pot, and then the Trader Joe's vanilla soy milk, and then a little bit of stevia. That's our favorite home coffee right now.
Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah.
My favorite coffee when we go out is when we go to our favorite restaurant, Pomegranate Cafe
yeah.
here in Phoenix, and they have a young Americano. What it is Americano,
Iced Americano.
and coconut water.
So it's basically cold espresso and coconut water.
It is unbelievable.
Super smooth.
Super refreshing, and man, it packs a punch. Like I am wired for hours.
Yeah.
Like regular coffee, it's good for about an hour or two for me, but that thing will last the entire day. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. They also right now they have a frozen coffee called Monsoon Magic.
Oh yeah.
And I don't even know everything in it, but I know there's coffee, there's their ice cream. I think it's a coconut-based ice cream, some kind of chocolate syrup, their vegan whipped cream. I don't know. It's just amazing, and I get it, and it's like a coffee sugar high rush. It makes me very, very happy.
It's good.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I've really changed the way I've been viewing food the last month. Let's do one of our next episodes on that.
Yeah.
But just the way I've been like eating and looking at food and stuff. And so that's something that I get and I just enjoy it. And that's the end.
All right. So now it's been coffee and tattoos.
Oh, is that what you were trying to do? Because you
And
really
movies.
want it to be coffee and tattoos 4.0.
My obsessive compulsiveness needed to be satisfied.
You like it literally had to be that. We couldn't have done this one just tattoos and movies.
No.
No.
Nope. I'm too much of a control freak.
All right.
No,
well,
but people might want to know. I mean, it is interesting.
Yeah.
The different. I mean, there's so many different ways to drink coffee. It's amazing.
Isn't that funny?
It's like the coolest thing. Lately, I've been actually drinking jasmine tea.
Yeah, you've been back on a tea kick.
And it's great. It's interesting because sometimes I'll drink coffee and I'll feel kind of like fatigued shortly
Right.
afterwards,
Mhm.
like my adrenals are shot.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I should go see someone about that.
No. We just need to sleep more, babe.
Yeah.
That's really all
Need
it
the
is.
kids to move out.
You don't need to go see someone. You need to sleep.
Well, I'm teasing. Obviously I'm a doctor, so I would just see myself.
I don't think that's the way it
Are you
works.
kidding me? I'm not gonna go see someone else. I know what to do. I use Google the same as them.
I don't think that's the way it works, babe. But okay.
Anywho, tea for some reason has just it'll give me that energy, but then when the caffeine subsides, I'm not left feeling really fatigued and kind of wiped out
Right.
as much.
Well, most of the rest of the world are big tea drinkers. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's like, and it's drinking tea is its own little ritual. and it's very calming. It has
It's
a
actually very meditative to.
very self-care approach, honestly, with tea.
Yeah.
And I got you a really cool, what is it, an iron kettle?
Yeah, a blue iron kettle. It's
for Christmas.
So rad.
Was it Christmas? I got that for you. Yeah. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
Yeah, that's neat.
Yeah.
So coffee, tattoos, tea, and movies. But don't worry, we will title it. You just twitched. Your eye and cheek literally just fucking twitched. No joke. We have got to start doing video of our podcast. You guys can see this shit.
We just might.
That's true. I might have just dropped.
We have some ideas and stuff.
Yeah, I might have just given a spoiler away. But anyways, we will title it. Is it coffee and tattoos or tattoos and coffee?
Coffee and tattoos.
Coffee and tattoos.
It's got to be alphabetical order.
Oh my God. All right. On that note, until next time.
Adios.
Love ya.